going through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through every slide. In fact, I want you guys to ask me questions more so than me going through these slides, because the second part of the presentation is going to be how to buy a foreclosure, and I want to spend most of my time there. So let's do this. Let's just go real quick. Let's just make sure everybody stay muted. And I need you to make sure that you keep your camera turned off. And again, I always need your feedback, right? So let's do this. Let's go through assumptions. So today I just want to go through quickly how to do an analyzation on a property. Okay, so let's assume that you had this particular assumptions, right? That you had the homework. I didn't give it to you, but I may give you some homework next week, so I need you to listen up, okay? So the ARV in this particular assumption, we're going to assume it was $100,000, and ARV means after repair value, right? We know that most banks are only going to lend you up to 75 or 8% of the ARV. Our particular assumption, again, we're going to say most banks won't go 30 years on investment properties. They'll only go 20. So let's assume they'll do 20 for 5%. We're going to assume 4K on our closing costs, 10,000 repairs. Okay. On the other side, once we get the property up and running, we're going to assume that we can get $1,000 rent. The annual taxes are $900, insurance $840, vacancy $600. And then we're going to have, say, 10% repairs. We're just going to put those a little bit high for right now. So we're going to solve for the maximum allowable offer, the monthly mortgage payment, the net cash flows, the net operating income, and the ROI. I'm just going to cover these three right here. These are the biggies right here. Maximum allowable offer, MMP, and the NCF, okay? So after repair value, we talked about this before. I need to make sure everybody understands. That's the value after the property has been repaired, right? It's been fixed up, it's improved, it's ready to go. It's also sometimes called the market value. That's the value that people are willing to pay in the market. But it's also sometimes called the appraised value, and that value is based upon what other properties in the neighborhood are selling for. So it's market value, ARV, after repair value, appraised value. They're all the same thing, right? It's what it's what people are willing to pay for that property. On the loan to value, it's whatever percentage the bank is willing to loan. I've already said the banks are normally only willing to loan 75 or 80% of whatever the ARV. Again, 70 to 80%, it's normally 75 to 80%. In our assumption, we're going to say the bank's going to loan us $100,000. I need to stop back and tell you one of our rules, one of Mr. Ray's rules is the 1% rule. Whenever you hear me say the 1% rule, that means that it's 1% of whatever the ARV is what you have to get a minimum in rent, right? Your gross rent need to be if you buy a property for it's worth $100,000, you need to make sure it's getting $1,000 rent. If it's not, then the numbers are not going to work out for you normally. So let's just keep that as a rule. So let's figure the maximum allowable offer real quick. So the maximum allowable offer is going to be the ARV times our percentage. It's going to be 75%. Less repairs, less closing. That's going to give us our maximum allowable offer. So we said ours is 100,000. The bank will give us 75%. We know it needs 10,000 in repair. So the maximum allowable offer on this will be the 75K, -10, -4 will give us the 61K. Okay, let's stop right there. See if we got any questions. All right, everybody got that? Pretty simple math right there. We'll give you another chance to ask questions here in a minute, but I want to make sure you got that. So now we need to figure the monthly mortgage payment. Again, we're going to use our 75%, and we're going to say the bank is going to finance the $4,000 in closing. Banks will normally let you throw that in. Some people like to pay it outside. I like to throw it in. So we'll ask, so it'll be 104,000 times the 75%. That's what the bank's going to loan us, 78,000. All right. So here's what the monthly payments will look like. It's going to be $78,000 at 5% for 20 years. You need a Excel spreadsheet or a mortgage calculator to come up with. You can't figure this on your own. So if you guys don't have a mortgage calculator, or if you don't know how to get this number, you need to let me know and I can send that to you and you can just plug and play those numbers. It's called an amortization schedule, and I've got a spreadsheet. If you want it, I will send that to you. Any questions? Okay, keep going. So now let's talk about the net cash flow. This is where the money is made, baby. This is where you have to be good. You got to make sure that property is cash flowing. If it's not cash flowing, you need to walk away once you run your numbers, okay? So what is the net cash flow? Well, we said our rents is going to be $1,000 a month because we paid $100,000 for the property. We're at least going to get $1,000 worth of rent. We just figured out what the principal and interest is because I said, if you don't have that spreadsheet, I'll help you. All you got to do is plug in the amortization amount, what the interest rate is, and how long that you're going to be financing it over. And it'll give you this number. You need that, I'll give it to you. We're assuming the taxes are $75 a month, insurance is $70 a month, vacancy is $50 a month, maintenance is $100 a month. So total that we're going to be paying out, or that the tenant's going to be paying for us, is $809. So we subtract that from our $1,000, that gives us our net cash flow. Any questions? All righty, let's keep going then.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
I have one. Since you're putting more down, you probably wouldn't have like the mortgage insurance in there, would you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Who is this, Christina?
You wouldn't have, yes, this is Christina.
Okay. Say again, Christina.
You wouldn't have mortgage insurance in there. That's just like normal insurance for the property, correct?
Yeah, that's
probably
just the insurance to make sure if it burns down or something happens to it, that's going to cover you.
Okay.
Not mortgage insurance.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
can you remind us again how you calculate the vacancy?
Okay. The vacancy is just a percentage, and that's a percentage that you can come up with, right? It's not, for me, I like to use 5% normally. In this case, I did use, it was just, so it's either it's somewhere between 5 and 10%, depending upon, if you're able to keep if you really believe that you can keep that property rented most of the time, then I would use a vacancy rate of 5%. But if you think it's in an area that, you're having some vacancies, then I would use more like 10%. And that vacancy rate is, if you take 10% times whatever the gross rent is, that'll give you the vacancy rate for every month.
Got it.
Okay. Okay, somebody said if y'all need the mortgage calculator, amortization, you need to text me that. All right, just text it, Mr. Ray, send that to me, okay? Any other questions?
I have a question, and I'm not sure how technical this gets. How challenging is it to get insurance on these properties during the rehab phase?
You gotta have an insurance company that's real estate friendly. Let's put it like that, because a lot of them, they don't want to insure it because, like you said, it's not fixed up and it's not rented.
Okay.
But a lot of times you can get them to just give you a cash, what I call just for what it's worth at the same time. Like for instance, if the property ARV is 200,000, but right now it's only worth 150, most of them will write it for you for 150, not the total.
Okay.
But they like to have those things rented and they like to have them fixed up.
What I ran into was, and I'll probably talk offline, it hadn't been insured in 12 months. So they did like a fair plan that was kind of expensive, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. What else? Any other questions? Net cash flow, baby. Got to make sure that, baby. I like to have at least $200 net cash flow. Real quickly, let's do this. Let's see what time we got. All right, we're doing all right. So when I talk about the net operating income, it reflects the money that you're going to make from the operation, excluding the mortgage, right? And this is just something that investors like to look at. So it's kind of cool. It says, if I didn't have a mortgage on this property, what would the net operating income be? And so you take the net operating income is the gross rent less all those expenses except the mortgage. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do those numbers real quick. So everything but the mortgage is in here, right? And so the net operating income for this property without the debt is $8,400. Net operating income. Any questions? Again, that's just, you look at net cash flow, you net operating income. That's how much money it's going to generate if you didn't have a mortgage on it. Good deal. Glad y'all watching the videos, but I also want to make sure you're not scared to ask questions, because this is your only opportunity to ask questions. All right, so the other thing I like to look at is return on my investment. That is, on my money that I have invested in this property, what type of return am I getting on this? Okay, so it's basically the annual net cash flows. We already figured that, divided by the total money that you got in the game. Okay, so in this particular case, our total investment, we had $25,000 as our down payment. Remember, the bank loaned us 75%, so we had to put down 25%. We also had to pay for the repairs because the banks won't finance the repairs. So I got $35,000 in the game on this particular property, right? And also remember that we're financing the closing costs inside of the loan also. So the only money I got out of my pocket is $35K right now. So if I do it right, then I got the $190 a month is what I get in net cash flow times 12. That gives me the annual. So I'm earning net cash flow of $2,200 a year on this property. And if I take that divided by the money that I have invested, then I'm getting about a 15% return on my money. Any questions? That's cash on cash return. I love cash on cash return because that's money coming back in my pocket, baby. I love that. After the tenant pays all of my expenses, that is.
Real quick question. What is the target percentage on a ROI?
If anybody on this phone is in the stock market, they'll tell you 15% is blowing it out the water, right? In real estate, for me, if it ain't at least making me, for me, where I am today, if I don't make 25% return on my money, I don't even fool with it. That's how good real estate is for me. But 15% is a good, you try to go down to the bank, ask the bank, will you give me 15% return on my certificate of deposit, or they'll run you out of there. They ain't nobody giving you 15% return on your money. Nobody. You know how much the bank's paying on certificates of deposit, and they make you keep it in there for 3 years? 1%. That's what they're paying you. So 15% is really good. That's why I love real estate, baby, because it makes that money. It makes that money, and I ain't even talking about the tax benefits. We already talked about it. I get paid 5 ways, baby. This is just one of the ways I get paid. Any other questions? All right, let's keep rolling. I'm not going to talk about the BRRRR strategy today. You guys, anybody got any questions on the BRRRR strategy? It's BRRRR, baby. You buy it, you rehab it, you rent it, you refi it, get your money back, and then you take that same money and you do it all over again, baby. It's the BRRRR strategy, baby. I love it. And I'm going to show you, I've been doing some BRRRRing lately. I'm going to show you some of the deals that I've been doing. Not today, but I will show you. Any questions? All right, let's keep it moving. We're not going to do this one. Again, that's the BRRRR strategy. I could show you how it works, but anybody got any questions on it? If you watch the video, let me know if you got any questions. I'll answer them. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. So this particular property, that's what it would look like on the BRRRR. All right. Hard money, kind of same way. Any questions on this? How to use hard money? Hard money costs you a lot of money. They charging 15 to 20% to loan you money with hard money. That's guys out there, just private money lenders is willing to loan you money at 12 to 15%. The only way you can make money on that deal is you got to get the property at really low price, right? It's got to be really discounted. All right. Let's see. Now, nothing there. We already talked about the 5 ways you get paid on this particular property. I got $1,000 in appreciation. After a year, I reduced the loan, $2,200. I got some equity capture because as soon as I bought the house, after I fix it up, it's worth 100. You know, I only paid that much. And then all the tax write-offs and then my net cash flow. So year one, basically, I purchased this property. Remember, I only had 35,000 in the game. I actually got 40,000 in value back the first year. Any question? This real estate stuff is too good to be true. But when I was doing these numbers, I was like, wow, you mean they doing that? That's how they making money in real estate? Sign me up, coach. I'm in. All right. Rock and rolling, baby. That's how millionaires are made, baby. We talking about making them millions. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I had this on here from October. I mean, yeah, I am paying a founder's fee. If anyone wants to buy a home, anyone wants to sell a home, I'll pay this home. If you bring a home to me and I buy it, or you know somebody wants to sell a home, you bring it to me, I sell the home, I give you $300. All right, that's just, I always keep that out there. We're gonna talk about our book deal here in a minute. All right, we got question time, Q&A, baby. Any questions before we go to the next session, which we're gonna be talking about? What are we talking about? Anybody know what we're talking about next? We're talking about foreclosures. Y'all ain't listening to what's going on? We're talking about foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. Any questions before I go to the next session, baby? Got to keep this thing moving. We're doing good, but I got to know if I got any questions. All right. Silence, crickets, nobody's talking. All right, let me load up the next deal here. All right, this is what y'all been waiting for. Mr. Ray, how we buy those foreclosed properties? I'm about to tell you, baby. This is how we do it. Now, this is not for everybody. This is for the astute investors only, because you got to know what you're doing in this game, right? All right, you got to know. Oh, let's talk about the book of the month. So we just finished January. So the book of the month this month is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I love it. By Robert Kiyosaki. So that's the book we're going to be reading this month. So everybody asks me, well, Ray, how do I get these books? Well, I want to give special thanks to my nephew, Rasheem McDowell. He has provided downloadable copies of all of these books, or else he either gave me the downloaded copy or else he got the ones that you can just simply listen to, right? So they're audio. So if anybody's interested in any of the books, they say, what books, Mr. Ray? All right, let me show you what books we're going to do the rest of this year. Here's the book list right here. So this is what we just finished this month. We did the Millionaire Real Estate. So in February, we're going to do Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And here's the rest of the list. So all these books, I will make them available to you, either audio or else you can, we'll download a PDF. Either way, I got, so all you need to do is send me a text, say, Mr. Ray, I would like all these books given to me, and I will email them to you, or else I'll get them to you some way. Okay, any questions on that? So this month, we're going to be reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and if you've already read it, then you need to pick one of these other books. All right, again, hats off to Rasheen for providing that. That's huge. That is huge. All right, so let's go back over here. All right, I got some funky stuff going on with my cursor, the worser cursor. One quick second here. All right, so again, hats off to Rasheen. We appreciate you. All right, so let's go. I gave you the book, so let's talk about our agenda for today. I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Did I miss a question? All right, y'all chat it up in the chat room if you got any questions. If you can't answer it, I'll get to it at the end. So what is a foreclosed property? We'll talk about that. I want to describe what the process is. I want to tell you what the difference between a pre-foreclosure and a foreclosed property. And then I'm going to take you through the process, if you want to get in this game, how you buy a foreclosed property, and then we'll do Q&A. So let's define what a foreclosed property is. So foreclosed, pre-foreclosed, again, there's two, there's foreclosed and pre-foreclosed. So before it's foreclosed on, we call it pre-foreclosed. And so this is a property that the owner has failed to make the payment for at least 3 months. They normally don't start the foreclosure unless you're at least 3 months behind. Pre-foreclosed, this is a property that the bank has issued what we call a les pendens, and that case is against the borrower saying, you have refused to pay us the money you said you was going to pay us, so we're going to foreclose on you. They will send you a certified notice, everybody that has any interest in that property, to make sure that you know they're about to foreclose on you. Pre-foreclosed property is a property that has a mortgage loan that is in default, right? They hadn't paid this property. Pre-foreclosed is a property that can be purchased from the owner prior to the sheriff's sale. So you still got an opportunity to buy this property from the owner before it goes to the sheriff's sale. And a foreclosed property can only be purchased at the sheriff's sale or after the sheriff's sale if it doesn't sell. Okay, any questions on that? Let's make sure everybody understands the difference between pre-foreclosure and foreclosure. All right, you got that. So let's talk about the foreclosure process. So
Can you go
here's
back
how
to
it
that
goes.
last screen, Ray? Can you go
Yes.
back one screen? I was looking at pre-4.
Was you asking the question, Roxanne?
I got it. I just needed to get something I was writing off of there. Got it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
Can the owner still buy it back once it's reached foreclosure, or is it out of their hands at that point?
They can buy it, they can still get it back pre-foreclosure, but once it goes to the sheriff's sale, it's pretty much done. Now, I have heard that after the sale, sometimes if nobody bought the property, that the owner can't come back in. But a lot of times at that point, you got to pay full price, right? So they're not going to let you just start making payments again. They're going to say, okay, if you want it, then you got to pay everything that you own on that property.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Okay, so the process, here's how it starts. You're gonna get a notice from the bank saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, you guys are 3 to 6 months late. We're getting ready to foreclose on this property. Then the bank's gonna send a notice to any lien holders of record. So if anybody else has any liens on that property, whether it's the Oklahoma Tax Commission, whether it's Oklahoma County, whether it's through a divorce, whatever it is, if anybody else has any interest in that property, the bank's going to send them a notice. We're getting ready to foreclose because they're in what they call first position. The bank is in first position. Bank will normally never take any other position. Anybody after the bank may or may not get called, may or not get paid on this deal, right? And so the bank sends a notice to all the heirs, all the tenants, anybody that's got anything to do with this property. The mortgage borrower can bring the mortgage current anytime prior to the sheriff's sale. All penalties, all late fees must be paid to get the loan back in good standing. Any questions?
Hey, Ray,
Yo,
how long does a process for foreclosure normally take?
yeah, I've seen them take almost 2 years.
Okay.
Right now, they're running about a year. And so that pre-foreclosure process, that's a lot of opportunity for you to get in there and try to make a deal with the owner before it goes to closing. Now, what they're doing right now is they're not really foreclosing on anybody that's living in the house. Now, if the property is vacant and if it's let's say it's owned by a corporation or something, they're foreclosed. But during COVID, they're not really foreclosing. I'm gonna show you what the list look like here in a minute. We're gonna go out to Oklahoma County and I'm gonna show you exactly what the sheriff's sales look like.
Hey,
Ray,
Ray,
I have a question.
Yes. Any other questions?
Yes.
Ray,
Yeah.
go ahead, Vaughn.
This is Paul. I had a
Paul.
question. What happens if the property goes into bankruptcy?
If it goes into bankruptcy, then the bankruptcy will take control of it. So it becomes part of the bankruptcy proceedings. So
Okay.
it would basically stop it'll basically stop this process and it'll roll over into that process. And then also, if it's a probate, the probate will trump the foreclosure also. So those are two things that if any of those things happen, then it'll roll up to one of those others. But again, you gotta get with an attorney because sometimes, they'll do it depending on the timing. If certain documents are not filed, they can go ahead with the foreclosure, even though, two of those other things are going on. But they usually like to just roll them up into one. If it's a probate, they'll roll it up to the probate. If it's a bankruptcy, they'll roll it up to the bankruptcy.
Hey, Ray, you made a reference to doing this pre-foreclosure that you can work with the homeowner or whoever is there currently. Is that something that you'll go into in terms of some detail, or is that just something brief you can share with us that process is like?
That's a whole different process. So
Gotcha.
I'm just bringing it up. You can do it. There's a way to do it. There's a lot involved in that. And that's something that I teach on when we do our premier class. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing over there. Any other questions? All right. So that's kind of the process. Let's keep going. We got to keep going through this process. There's more to this. All right. So the lender's he's gonna send the loan to the county to schedule the sheriff's sale. Usually after 6 months it's delinquent. Sometimes it can run a year. I've seen them hang out there for 2 years. Okay. A lot of stuff can go on, but normally after 6 months, the lender's going to send it to the sheriff and say, hey, I need you to schedule a sale. We need to sell this so we can get our money back. And so the county's going to send out a publication to the newspapers in that area, notifying all the heirs, anybody that has anything, any interest in this property, that all they have to do is do a publication. They can do it in any newspaper, and they got to post it for 3 weeks prior to the foreclosure sale. Now, if the property is vacant, the bank will go in and secure the property, and they'll post the proper notices, right? And they will, because they want to make sure that they're protecting their property. You vacated the property, You ain't got the water, gas, electric on, pipes freezing. They're not going to let that happen. They're going to take care of the property. If you're still there, they can't enter the property. They cannot enter that property if you're still there. But if you abandon that property, just like me as a landlord, if I threaten to evict you from the property and I go over there and I see you're not there, you obviously have vacated the property, I can go in and take advantage and secure my property. But if you're there, I can't do that. The property is still considered in pre-foreclosure at this point, right? During this time, somebody can still come in and pay this off and stop the foreclosure. Some properties, I've seen this happen. Properties will pull off the list the day of the sale because somebody barely got in there on that day and paid it off. Any questions?
Mr. Ray,
Yes, sir.
in the pre-foreclosure, you're trying to make the bank whole. So whatever you're going to go in there and pay it off or do whatever, you're talking about what the bank has in it.
Yeah,
They
well,
set
that's
the
what
price.
you're
There's
looking
no
at.
negotiating.
Yeah, you're just trying to make the bank whole. You're not trying to pay market value, but the bank's going to want cash. They're not going to want you. They're not going to give you time to go get another loan. They done with loans on this house. They want cash.
All right.
Any other questions? All right, let's keep going. You're doing good. Okay, so on the day of the sale, this is what's going to happen. So I'm Mr. Ray. I want to go to the Oklahoma County sale. This is what I got to be prepared for. Number one, as a bidder, I'm required to give my ID and I'm going to receive a bid number, right? That's going to be my number. I'm going to hold up and say, I'll bid so-and-so on this property. And we'll talk about how that goes later. So the sheriff, he calls the meeting to order and he sets the rules for the auction. He says that these properties are going to be auctioned today. They're going to be auctioned at 2/3 of the value of what they're worth. And we're going to start the auction at this number, and we're going to go up in increments of 100 or 1,000. He'll set that increment. And so every time you raise your hand, you're going to go up 100, or you can say what the number is that you want to offer. Let's say they started at 2/3 of the property. Let's say it was $60,000. So the opening bid is 60,000. You may decide you just want to bid 70. You can hold your hand up and say 70,000, and that'll be the bid. The next person behind you can say 70,100, right? Whatever that minimum bid, they normally say at least $100. You got to outbid the next person by $100, and you got to be at least 18 years of age to participate. And the highest bidder is going to win the right to purchase that property. Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Ray, that's also probably when the reserve come in. Some of these properties probably will have a reserve price.
Yes,
You know,
some
even
of
though
them
they
have,
start at
the bank will
2/3.
set a price and say, we won't take less than this,
Yeah.
right? And so a lot of
So that
times when
2/3 may not be that.
they set the reserve because they don't want nobody to buy the property. If you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it at this market value.
Mhm.
So a lot of times the bank wants that property back because they feel like for whatever reason that they can get more money for it. But sometimes if you go over their reserve, they'll let you have it now, but you got to beat their minimum reserve or they're not going to sell that. So their reserve might be 100,000. You could offer 90 all day. They're not going to take it.
Let's go. I've said let's go 3 times.
All right, everybody mute. I got somebody who's not muted. Let me find out who it is. If I find out you're not muted, I'm going to kick you off of this phone. All right, I don't see who you are. All right, Mr. Ray, you so mean. You so mean. You gonna kick people off the phone. You ain't right. All right, just keep going. So let's keep going and talking about the day of the sale. So the winning bidder, if you win the bid, let's say you bid it and you want it, baby. You got 100,000. I want it. All right. You got to put down 10% of that 100,000 within 24 hours. Okay, and it's got to be a certified fund, cash or money order. All right. The remaining balance is going to be due within 30 days. All right. So let's say you put down the 10% and then you don't make it with the rest of it in 30 days, you just lost your 10%. If the winning bid fails to make the deposit, say they don't come up with the 10% or the remaining balances, they didn't pay it in 30 days, the second highest bid now gets to come in, put down their 10%, and then they get 30 days to come up with the rest. Most banks, often they're going to show up and they're going to try to bid the house up if they believe it's worth more than what they're asking for. They don't have a reserve set or whatever. They're going to be there as you're bidding. They're going to be there bidding too, right? Banks are not going to let that house go for less than what's owed on the defaulted loan. Okay, they're just not going to do it. They're going to get, unless the house is just falling down and they don't want it. Otherwise, they're going to be there to bid it up. Any questions? Okay. Some final thoughts. And then I'm going to take you out to the site, Oklahoma County site. All funds must be certified, cashier's check, money orders. These are cash deals, people. You can't run to the bank and say, I want to get a loan on this foreclosed property. They ain't going to give you it, number one. So you got to be a cash buyer. Number two, you're not even allowed to see the property prior to purchasing. If you do, you can get arrested for trespassing on the property, okay? Buyer beware, baby. This is only for the astute investors. If you're going to buy this property without seeing the inside of it and you're putting your cash money into it, you better be sure what you're buying. All right, any questions before I go out to the Oklahoma County site or while I'm going out there? Let's go out to the Oklahoma County site. See what we got going on. Y'all can ask questions while we're going out here.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
You say you got to make sure you know what you're doing or what you're buying. Are you just looking at the neighborhoods or where the house is located, or what's the keys or triggers for that?
For me, James,
you know, you're just driving by, right? You know, I mean, all you can see is the neighborhood, or maybe research who owned it before. Or
yeah, this is again, a lot of times, and I'm not telling you to do this. This is what I do. All right, so I'll look at everything on Zillow. I'll see what it's worth. A lot of times you'll see pictures on Zillow or Redfin or something like that. So I'll look and see if there's any recent pictures. I'll go to the county and look at some stuff, and then I'll drive by the property. If the property looks like it's vacant, weeds are growing up, I mean, it just looked like it's vacant, I'll walk up and see if I can get in the property, all right? Or I can look in the windows and see what I can see in the windows. But if somebody's living there, I don't even try to approach it, all right? So yeah, you're basically buying it sight unseen. You're buying it by what it looks like on the outside.
This is just good.
Any questions? So here's where we're going to go for the county sale. Oklahoma County sales, the sheriff sales in Oklahoma. So you just type in Google, Oklahoma County sheriff sale. Make sure you guys seeing that? I want to make sure you're seeing that. Should be. All right, so I'm going to go here, Oklahoma County Sheriff, and this is what's going to come up for me. Let me see if I can maximize this for you a little bit. See if I can get a little bit bigger. All right, so this is what it looks like. And so right here at the county, they're telling you that they're going to publicize this thing for 2 weeks, at least 30 days prior to the sale. This is where it's going to be held at, the Oklahoma County, 320 South Kerr, in this room right here. It's going to start promptly at 2 o'clock. So to purchase this property, you got to have the following. All bids are going to have to be at least 2/3 of the appraised value. We talked about that. You got to put that 10% down. The rest is due. That's the 10% is going to be due in 24 hours. The rest of the 90% is going to be due within 30 days of the sale. Certified funds required. All these things I've already told you. These are the requirements. So now, Mr. Ray, where can I see these properties? How can I find out about them? Okay, so right here, it's going to show you the next sale is 2/4/221, right? If you click this down arrow, you'll see these are the next sales that's coming up. But the one, the sale that's coming up here in 3 days, you click submit. There we go. And so here are the properties right here. It'll give you the case number, who the plaintiffs are. The plaintiffs is normally the people that own the property, right? The defendants are the people that's living in the property. Here's the attorney's name. And this is what they say is the appraised value for the property, right? And so the bidding will start 2/3 of that. And you can scroll down, you can see these are the properties that is going to sell on the 4th. So you get the address, and what I'll normally do, I'll copy the address. Let's just do this one. So this address is 532 Southwest 52nd. So I'll go over to Google, 532 Southwest 52nd, Oklahoma City. Look at Zillow. See what they got over here. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet. Don't really have no pictures on it. So James, you asked the question. This is the only picture you have on this property right here. All right. This is Google Maps. So you can see, you know, what's around it. Looks like a pretty good neighborhood. Not too bad. I don't know what that is, right? That must be a church. But this looks like a pretty nice house right here, right? So I would say, oh, okay, you know, the value says 136. The sheriff sells what? 110. So it's about in that ballpark. Any questions on this?
Ray, can you do that next one for 12,000?
Okay, yeah, I can tell you that's probably a piece of junk. 1037 Southwest 70. If it's that low, can't be that much out there. Let's see what Zillow got. You know, it may be that this property could be burnt down. This is the latest picture, but you would actually have to, and I bet that this house is burnt down because the Zillow says it's worth 129, right? Did I get the right one? 1037, right? 1037 Southwest 70th. Yeah, that's it. So I bet you 9 times out of 10, this house is burnt down. Because if it looks like that, it would have more value, right? So 9 times out of 10, that property ain't there. So that's, again, buyer beware. You can look at pictures online, but when you get out there, you may have a whole different deal, right? So let's see another one here. This is 235. This is 16716 Village Garden Drive. 16716 Village Garden Drive in Edmond. It's probably a nice home. See here. It's worth 252. It's got no picture. All right, let's go to maybe realtor.com might have a picture. No picture coming up. Try one more time. Let's try one more site. Let's see Remax. See if they got a picture. And nobody got a picture of this particular property, so I don't know what's going on with it. Any other
Mr. Ray,
questions?
it said that it was off the market.
Yeah, even off the market though, a lot of times it'll have a picture. The county will have. Now let's go to. Well, I ain't going to the county. You can go to the county and look. Normally I'll just drive by it. If I was interested in it, I'll just drive by it. Let's see, here's one. See, most of these, this is 45,000, 55,000. So this is 25,000. Let's look at that, 2301 Hardin Drive. That's it over in that's up northeast Oklahoma. Ain't Hardin Drive over there? What was that address again? 2301 Hardin. Oklahoma City. See what Zillow's got. It's in Creston Hills over there, South Creston. 2 bedrooms. It don't even have a picture. So it's on Zillow. I guess they've been trying to sell it. They're trying to sell it before it goes to close. So it's been on Zillow for 23 days. This is a property that you could probably go over and pay cash for and get it pretty easy. So we don't have a picture. So if you had the cash, you might be able to go over and offer them, you know, $20,000, $30,000. I don't know what it looks like. This sale is coming up on 2 and 4. You're getting pretty close. I like to go to the sale that's like coming up like 3 and 4, right? That's a month away. I got time. I'll go over there. I got time to hustle and look at these properties, right? So I will go over and take a look at these properties, see if I can do a deal within the next month. Try to get a hold of the owner, you know, whatever I need to do. Let's see if I can get this property, talk to them about what they owe on it. You know, if they owe less than what the property is worth, I won't fool with them. But if it's got some equity in it, you know, I'll be looking to deal with them. Any questions? Here's one on Missouri. Let's look it up. 520 North Missouri. Look with Zillow, see what they got. So this property is estimated 100,000 right here. Little small house. Most of y'all, if you're on the northeast side, you know where this house is. All right, so, you know, I'd say at this property right here on Missouri, you know, they said appraised value is 60. So it's going to start at 2/3 of that. Over here, it says it's worth 100,000. So I might be interested in buying that property, right? But I'd have to go and run my comps real good, make sure it is worth around 100. Zillow says it's 100,000. They starting it at 2/3 of 60. So they may know something you don't know about the inside of that property. Any questions?
Hey, Ray,
I'm about
is
to
there
get
any
hungry.
difference?
Y'all better come on with some questions.
Ray,
Yeah.
some of these are listed with banks and some are listed with like mortgage companies. Is
Yes.
the dealing the same?
Yeah, it's the same. It's just whoever the lender is. Banks own some of them and mortgage companies own some of them. Yeah. So like here's a mortgage company, there's a bank, there's a bank. That's a mortgage company, LLC. Now see, I could actually, let's say one of my houses I own, James, if they don't pay, let's say I was doing a for sale by owner. I own the property, so I'm gonna be the bank. And so they stopped paying it. So I would do foreclosure. My name would appear here as the plaintiff. Right. So if you own the property, you can go through the sheriff's sale like everybody else. You just got to go through the process. Any other questions? That's all I got for the night. That's all I got. Let's turn your videos on. Let's see if you want to ask any questions. Open it up for anybody. Any questions on pre-foreclosures or foreclosures? Any questions? What's up, Vaughn, Adeline? What's happening? Who else is in the house? We got Craig. We got Paul. What up?
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
When you're running down that list with the county, is
Yeah.
there certain things you're looking for just for your range or?
Yeah, I like
areas or?
yeah, I'm looking for properties right around 100,000 and 150 because I know I got that much cash, James. So, I mean, I could pay more than that, but you know, I'm not trying to put $200,000-300,000 out there, you know, on these properties unless I know there's a lot of equity in it. So, for me, I look for them right around about 150. I know it's going to start about 2/3 of that value, so that kind of works for me.
Hey, Ray,
And
how are
normally
you?
would you,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, are you normally thinking about putting repair costs?
Yeah, see, this is
Or you don't
one that
think
I would.
about that?
Yeah, this is one that I'm going to figure out what my maximum allowable offer is. So I'm going to estimate what I think the repairs are, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to go in there. But most of the time, James, what I found out, and I've been to a lot of these sheriff sales, they bid this stuff up to market value. That's why I don't even buy anything here anymore, because you got so many investors in there with just a lot of money. They just looking to buy anything. They don't even care what they're paying for it. And so I'm not willing to play that game. I need to buy it at a wholesale value.
Okay, Mr. Ray, I was want to know, how are you finding out about the equity that's in the home?
I have access to know what the mortgage is on those properties. I can show you that. That's readily available at the prop stream is what I use right now. And that's the software that we're going to be using when we talk about on Thursdays in our premier class, and it tells you exactly what the equity is. So you have to, when you can do the research, now I can go down, I can look at the county records and I can see when the loan was issued. Let's say the loan has been in effect for 10 years. I can kind of calculate and see approximately how much they owe on that property. And then I know what the ARV is. So I subtract the difference and say, that's probably about the equity on the property. But in PropStream, I can know exactly what the equity is.
So now when you buy a property like that that has equity, do you get the equity as well, or the bank keeps that?
No, I'm getting that equity because it's worth this. I'm buying it for this. That's mine. If the bank's willing to give me for this, that equity is mine. And so the owner loses that equity, right? The bank don't care. That's their loan. They got, you pay me this right here, I'm good. If you can, but if they bidding it up to here, they're taking away all your equity.
Okay. Okay.
What's up, Rasheen? What else? What other questions y'all got? Y'all, that's got to be an Oklahoma term. I never talked like that when I was in Indiana, Rasheen. They got me talking all kind of crazy country stuff out here in Oklahoma.
Man,
What
that
y'all
came
doing
when you
up
was at
there?
Oklahoma. That came when you was at Oklahoma, at OU.
Nah, is that what it did? They got me down there. Probably did.
Property taxes. How do you get a good feel for what the property taxes in the area will be?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Aileen.
How do you get a good feel for the property taxes and estimate those well?
The property taxes?
Yeah, so I noticed. So you know how in the breakdown where you're estimating cash flow, one of the things you have to estimate is the taxes.
Oh, those taxes are right out there on the county website. You know exactly what taxes are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
on the county website. What else? I smell chicken. Lila, you cooking, baby? I'm about to come that way and tear them up as soon as we get done with these questions. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm on Thursday. Those of you all that's going to be with me on Thursdays, this is where we're going to make money, pre-foreclosure, baby. I'm going to show you how to get them. Show you how to get them before they get over there to the bank, baby. We're going to make some money on that. All right. All right. Well, I'm hungry. Y'all look like
Ray,
you're hungry too.
Ray.
Yeah.
So you saying pre-foreclosure? That's before the banks try to bid it up, or what's the difference?
Yeah, pre-foreclosures is before it goes to the sheriff's sale. Anytime before it goes to that sale, it's called pre-foreclosure. I'm trying to buy it before it goes to the sheriff's sale.
Okay.
But
So
I
the
gotta
banks don't
talk
have
to
like
the
a
owner. I
set
can't
cost?
talk to the bank. The bank's
Oh,
not gonna
okay,
talk to
okay,
me.
okay.
So
So
is
you're
that
dealing with the owner.
okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
You're
talking
dealing with the owner and pre.
to the people that own it that's behind. I'm telling you know, here's
Okay.
my conversation. This property is going to the sheriff's sale, and I know it is. Now, I know that you only owe $46,000 on this $100,000 property. I'm willing to help you to keep your credit good. I will give you $46,000 plus a couple thousand, $3 to help you move. Are you interested? That's how I play that. Oh, I don't. I won't. Sometimes they'll try to talk me into giving them more money. I'm like, this house needs $25,000 worth of work. I can't give you that. I can only give you. All I'm trying to do is save your credit so that when it looks, so when people look at your credit, they won't see this foreclosure on your deal.
So is that also considered like a short sale?
A short sale is different. A short sale is I'm negotiating with the bank. I don't want to negotiate with the bank because usually the short sale happens after it's going to the sheriff and nobody bought it. Now, sometimes you can do a short sale before, but a lot of times the banks, they don't like to do short sales. I don't know, Rock, did y'all do short sales like that?
No, but I was just trying
They
to
don't
make
like
sure.
to do that. I mean, they will, but usually it's after they've got it back, they may be willing to do short sale. But again, it's cash. You can't go out and get a loan on it. You got to come to them with some cash.
Mr. Ray, this is Laura.
Hey,
So
Laura.
if the owner says, yes, I want to sell you the home, how long does it take for you to secure that home before it's sold? Is it just a day or two, or?
Again, remember I told you I like to look at the pre-foreclosures 30 days prior to the sale, because now I got 30 days to try to get that deal closed.
But what if they lagging and it's a few days before the sale date, and then they call you up and say, hey, I want to sell you my home. Are you willing to buy it from them?
If I know that that's got a lot of equity in it and I can get it paid and I can get it under contract, I will do that deal a day or two ahead of time. But normally I like a little bit more time because I want to see, are there any more liens on the property? Do they got tax stuff on it? I want to be able to do my research. If I only got a day or two, then I'm hustling, bustling, trying to get stuff done, and I might miss something. And once I cut the deal is mine.
Okay.
Great question about a homework.
The homework?
Yes. Is it?
I'm gonna send a text to everybody tomorrow, and it's gonna be on how I want you to figure. Let's go back to it.
I was actually speaking on the homework you gave us last week.
You're on the wrong day. You're on Thursdays.
Thursday. That's right. That's right.
Now I am gonna give some homework to those of you all. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you another assumption. One of these. So those of you all that are on this line, you're gonna get another homework assignment, and you're gonna have to figure these right here. Okay. So I'm gonna give you all of this. There's gonna be different numbers, and then you're gonna do all of this, and then we'll review it next Monday. I'll see who got it right.
Hey, Paul, thank you for reminding him.
Because I sure forgot about it.
My bad. I'll take a look.
It's on now, baby. I'm gonna expect everybody to do the homework, baby.
We're gonna mute Paul.
Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm officially muted. Bye.
Shut the call down.
We love you, Paul. We love you. Okay, so remember now, if you want those books, if you want it in audio or if you want it PDF, let me know. Again, thanks again, Rasheen, for that. send me a text and I'll get that stuff to you, either email or I'll text it to you. All right, it was a good session today. You guys are getting some good game. I want to tell you, you're getting real game up in here today. All right, I'm done. I love you. Those of you all that that are on my Thursday call, make sure your homework is due tonight, baby. If you don't get it in tonight, you might not make the team, baby. You better get it in. Talk to y'all later. Have a good evening.